Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Namaste. This is the card reading for the Lover's card for 2023. This reading with those who have a sun or rising sign in Gemini as well too. So let's get to the cards and dive into this reading. In Margaret Peterson's artwork, we see the flowing energy of red and blue. We see hands and snakes. And there's a few other tarot decks where we see on the Lover's card this intersection of masculine and feminine energy, and we don't know where one ends and the other begins. It's quite beautiful. I'm also sensing here there's a reaching out towards each other. And there's a wanting to know. And I feel with the Lover's card, this is very subconscious. For those of you that follow me and listen to readings, there's a lot of people as a tarot reader that ask about relationship. People want to know, you know, what's coming and how are things going to be and what are they thinking and these kinds of questions that take you outside of yourself. And we enter the truth is that we enter into relationships so that we get to know ourselves. And I think at an entry level, there's a sense of, well, I want to complete myself. And yes, indeed, that's true. It's about understanding who you are and what you stand for and getting to know yourself. This is a card of relationship. And so it's inevitable that in a lover's year that relationships will come to the forefront and you will be questioning why and how things are the way they are. And the greatest challenge here is to continue to hold the mirror up and understand that each of the relationships that you engage in, especially those that are annoying, are a mirror reflection of something going on within you. And that gets really hard because life is busy and we don't always have time for self-reflection. So this is a bit of a challenge this year. I feel with the chariot, there may also be an impatience. There may be an impatience in relationship, an impatience of wanting to figure this out, wanting to fix things, and there's a danger in wanting to fix things. So I encourage you to be kind to yourself, to be kind to others, to be patient, to know that the relationships that you find yourself in are exactly where you need to be. And there's a reason why you are in each of them, and there is a reason why the ones that you are in, you're growing through something um, that could be a really big challenge. So let's go to Swadhisthana. And I think I'm going to read these cards in terms of chakras. Swadhisthana being the water element, to see what's happening in these chakras and how awareness of these chakras can um, help you through, guide you, support you in the various relationships that are important to you at this time. Okay. All right. So here she is again. I want to say that I want you to go back to when you were little and to ask yourself, how would you want to be spoken to? How would you want to be heard? Um, the kindness, the unconditional love that children offer. That is the place to continue to keep coming back to again and again. Again, I drew the hummingbird. And so perhaps this unconditional love, which is a heart chakra thing, it's not. Unconditional love has got nothing to do with the Swadhisthana chakra other than love is a feeling. Usually in this chakra, the message that would be coming through would be something much more, fundamental, basal. But for some reason, it's coming through here. And this is also an animal of the air. Air element is the heart. I was talking earlier about how these birds linger outside my window. And what I'm picking up for you is that if you can love all beings, if you can learn to love all beings, this takes me to a story about cats. There was a period of time where I really had no patience for cats. I didn't understand cats. I've never had a cat, and I was at a retreat, and this cat just kept walking over my journal every time I would go to sit out in the yard. This cat would come to me, and I said to my teacher, "I don't understand. I'm not a cat person, and this cat keeps coming to me." And my teacher said, "This cat is teaching you about love, about unconditional love for all beings. And you knew this as a child, and this is a way to help you understand the human relationships in your life. If you can extend love to all beings, maybe it's hummingbirds, maybe it's something else, you're gonna learn something about the other relationships in your life." So let's go to the air. Let's go to the energetic heart space, Anahat chakra. Remember, this is also the place of breath. So to breathe deeply when you're feeling challenged in your relationships, to find space for breath, to know that breath can create peace and tranquility, to always come back to the breath, to learn to breathe. Make this a year to learn to breathe. It will help you to create space. It will help you to um, find space in relationship when you need it most. It will help you to honor your own space. And so that if you are a very needy person who doesn't like to be alone, this is a kind of practice that will help you to understand the importance of space. Learn to breathe. Find a teacher who can teach you how to breathe. Mm. Breath is sacred. Breath is prana. Breath is energy. Breathe into your relationships. Let your relationships expand with breath. And I'm thinking about what Donna said in the last video about the sunrise or the sunset and the symphony. She didn't use that word, but there's this symphonic energy that one can experience at sunrise and sunset. And kind of break you open. And in a way, what I'm feeling here was the learning to love all beings and all creatures can also extend to these moments in these times in nature, these places of where energy is shifting from one frequency to another. These are very magical moments and magical places. Lilith takes us back to the beginning, and I think the connection here perhaps is in the silence. Lilith being connected to the dark moon, among so many other things. You may want to, if you're not familiar with Lilith, do some research about Lilith. There's a strong, independent, feminine energy here that is calling to you, perhaps in embracing your darkness. And maybe this is something that you hide in relationship, where you instead should be embracing it and bringing it into relationship. And perhaps in your sacred space, in meditation and contemplation, in your walk on the beach or in the forest, this is where you'll get downloads and messages about how this piece of you has been missing. Okay, I'm gonna just pause for a moment. This is really funny. I'm really I wasn't looking at the chat, I was so into this, but, laugh out loud, Pierce is beside me, and when he heard you say cat, he looked up toward the laptop. That is funny. Thanks, Karen. I don't know that practice, and so, this isn't a example. There are so many practices out there from many, many traditions, and we can we can learn and grow. My heart is, feeling a lot of energy right now, and this particularly on the left side, uh, Lilith wants space. Your dark goddess self wants space. Oh, it looks like the kitties are joining in onto this conversation. Alright, let's go to the kitties. Let's go to the kitties. I couldn't resist this one. The way that this deck is organized, this isn't the 78th card, um, but I tend to see this card as a card of complete integration, one who has absorbed a lifetime of lessons. And what I'm feeling here is that you have more resources within you than you are aware of. Trust those inner resources. Um, the other, I was talking about this in our Hierophant video too. Um, the those resources, sometimes it takes connection with nature to really uh, re-energize them. If there is an impatience in relationship this year, try to catch yourself and pause and give yourself space to reset. Don't beat yourself up, when you speak unkindly. Stop and say it again in a way that comes from a place of compassion. So let's go back to the chakra metaphor. Okay, so I was talking about in the Swadhisthana chakra, this is a really high frequency of relationship. In the space of Anahat chakra in the heart, this is what the heart wants. The heart, it'd be nice to have seen a six here, but this feels also very peaceful and calm and just undisturbed. It also symbolizes sacred space. In the place of the heart, the the highest frequencies are compassion, gratitude, and this is I can see this connected to the Lilith card in that you wanna have compassion and gratitude for your darkness, for your dark goddess self, and I've talked about this last 24 hours and that dark isn't bad, black isn't bad, dark is feminine, and so this journey in the Lover's Year, perhaps this is indeed getting to know your femininity in a new way, whether you identify in this lifetime as male or female or gender, some other gender. And in the root chakra, this is a powerful energy in the root chakra. Does this serve or does this hinder in terms of the Lover's card? It may create fear. It may create fear of doing things differently, behaving differently, away from what was expected in a family. If there was a dominant patriarch or a matriarch who acted very patriarchal. The let's see what shaman you get. Hunter of strength. Hunter of strength. So suit of water here. Suit of water balancing a very powerful energy here. It's great to have a hunter here. So where I was going was that in the balancing of the root chakra, in the healing of the root chakra, there needs to be a transparency with family so that we don't change our hat when we come in and out of our family. We don't wear a different hat, we don't speak differently, we don't act differently when we leave the family, when we come back to the family. Yes, there may be a shift in language, the actual language that you speak, but there needs to be an ease with your being, and this is one of the greatest lessons of the Lover's card is to find that ease within yourself. I am the hunter of strength. I seek the shapes and patterns of energy to find the name and nature of the strength you need. Wherever you stand in the journey of life, you require strength to empower you. Soul strength and heart strength, bone strength and emotional strength are all part of the pattern you walk. At your side, I guide you toward all that you need and ensure that you do not overreach your native power. And one of the reasons I like this card here, especially being connected to the rivers and the water, is that it reaches beyond the root chakra. It reaches towards the Swadhisthana chakra. It's not, uh, it would be a little too much to have had an ancestor card here. So working on your fluidity in your family. We've had this card so much. Okay. Manipura chakra, 5 of fire. Manipura chakra in terms of relationships has to do with control, power, who has power over whom. And then look across the way. So there may very well be issues of control and power with the masculine archetype within your relationships or your relationships from your childhood. So part of this journey of finding balance in the Lover's card is to study your relationship with power, with control. And as I said in previous videos, that can sometimes manifest as problems with digestion. This is a cool card. Compass. It's a compass with the zodiacal signs around the compass. And I can see this has to do with identification, over identification with things. And so it becomes difficult to find yourself when you over identify with one aspect of yourself rather than being more fluid with working towards the wholeness and the completeness of all aspects of yourself, marrying. And we see the result of that in the Temperance card. So this is early in the journey of understanding these concepts. So give yourself plenty of space. Be open to learning practices, to journeying into um, relationships beyond human relationships so that you can understand the challenges of human relationships through a different lens and through a different mirror. This is really this is a great card to be here because this would represent all of life and all beings as well too. Hmm. Just scrolling through the chat here. Hmm. Nobody ever said it was easy. It's always a work it's always a work in progress, the challenges go on and on, and, sometimes relationships reach a natural conclusion, and that can be very hard. That can be very hard, but you will have an opportunity to carry on with those lessons in subsequent relationships. That is inevitable, and I just want you to know that, that it's okay to give up on certain relationships because sometimes it's not possible to figure things out. You reach a point where, yeah, this just doesn't work, and so you take those lessons into another relationship, and then, you can figure it out. So there's that piece of this too. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I'll be back shortly with a reading for the Chariot card. Namaste.